Hello. Hi everybody. How's it going? Can never tell whether or not it's live. I feel like I'm never on top of this. I'm still learning, but it's great to see so many of the same people again. Guys, let me know. Make sure that you can hear me. All right, everything's good. How's it been? It's been a minute. It's been a week. It's actually flew by, to be fair. Um, Hi guys. Yeah, no. To be honest, it's just kind of flew by. I really look forward to doing this. I'm glad that so many of the same people are here. Um, and anybody new, also welcome. We tried to get through. We tried to get through the manga each time, at least the most recent stuff. Um, and we very rarely get through a lot of it. Like really, um, the I think last time we got through like a few chapters, like 2.5 or 3 chapters, because we just start rambling. I assume that the same is going to happen this time, but I feel like that's fine because we've got this 3 week period of time between now and when the manga's back. So we gotta keep each other company, guys. Um, you're all incredibly nice. Like honestly, the fact that there is anybody here at all is wild. I love it. It's amazing. So thank you. Everybody who signed up as a member as well. That is just wild to me. That's crazy. Thank you. Incredibly appreciated. And anybody who isn't, just thank you for being here. Um, yeah, awesome, great. I'm glad that we can kind of get back to this. Um, yeah, like I think most people did come from that Okarun and Momo's video. All my analytics and everything show that that's the video where everybody's coming from, right? It's hopefully the stuff I put out afterward that helps people decide to stay. It's hard to. I feel like that was lightning in a bottle for a lot of people, just because of how much the relationship between those two characters just touched people's lives. Um, it's yeah. I mean, to be honest, like the only reason I even made it in the first place is because I couldn't stop thinking about it. So I was like, well, I need to go make something and dedicate hours and hours and hours of my time to putting something together for that. Right. Did anybody see the interview, Tatsu's interview with Manga Plus? That was really cool. I'm not gonna go over every bit of it just because I think it's worth sitting down and reading it. But a couple of things really cool in there that I think is worth mentioning. Um, Tatsu's favorite character is Momo, which is great because she's my favorite character as well. Although he does confirm also in it that that the Okarun and Momo are the protagonists, right? So two. I feel like anybody who really has watched it and is into this kind of already knew that they were both the main character. Although there are some people that argue online about it for some reason. I don't see the point personally. I mean, we're all here for the same reason, right? But it is nice. It is nice to kind of get that affirmation, right? Um, there's a here you go. There's a link to it. Just a Reddit link. Um, yeah, I know. Tell me about it, Randy. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Like I don't know. I think people have taken it too literally at points. Like I just think it's really interesting to get into the mind of the author. For me, the most interesting part about it is when he's talking about how Tatsu writes essentially to address and reflect modern social issues in the story, because that's something that I've always tried to, especially in I don't know how many of you saw the yokai video that I did. I tried to attach that to it quite a lot because I felt like the yokai especially were victims of social circumstance, which is what he alludes to there, which was incredibly gratifying to read. Yeah, so honestly, it's great. Like obviously, the hiatus is a nightmare. Like having to wait weeks and weeks and weeks is a nightmare. But at least we got this from it, right? So he's cooking something good, guys. I can feel it. I can feel it in my bones that something good is coming. So yeah, I mean, I suppose we should just continue, because the reality is that we are probably going to get through. I feel like maybe we could get through the rest of it. There's not that much. There's the stuff with Psycho, and then there's the last couple of chapters, right? 21 days. Oh my god, that's ages. Yeah, 21 days. That is a long time. Yes. Right. I mean, cool, guys. This is great. I think also it's probably worth mentioning that we're gonna get in it in just a minute, guys. No, I don't mean to take too much time, but I did get a copyright strike on one of the on the most recent Dandadan Retold video. It is what it is, right? I'm trying to kind of reclaim it. Hopefully we can get that back up in, I don't know, like the next 2 weeks or something like that. If it doesn't go back up, then it probably won't go back up. It is what it is. But I think it'd be a great idea to try to kind of diversify things out. I don't want this channel to possibly end up in a situation where it gets like 3 strikes in a row or something like that, and then we're all just gone and scattered to the wind, right? It would be really nice if we had other places that we can kind of facilitate this community. So, and it's in the description. It's in the description. I basically have set up, and anybody who's already joined the YouTube membership, like, hold fire, because I want to make sure that you guys also get the same level of benefits that you have on the membership, but moved over to Patreon. So there's a Patreon and a Discord. I started a Discord channel, guys. I thought there would be a great opportunity for us all to have somewhere to go. I see that there's already somebody in there, which is great. That's a free thing. Anybody can access it. The only thing that I ask is that to get to the Discord invite link, just go and sign up on the Patreon for free. There's a free tier. It's just like follow or whatever, and then you get access to all the posts that are currently there. And then there are also a couple of 3 paid tiers as well, which are the same as the ones that are currently on membership. But I'm gonna boost membership very soon as well, just so that it reflects the same stuff on Patreon. If any of you would prefer to stay on YouTube membership, that's totally fine. But ideally, moving over to Patreon and is perfect for me. Anybody who's already, like I said, anybody who's already on membership, let me know in the comments here or on the Discord or whatever, and then I will make sure to get you guys basically a month over there, and then if you want to continue that, that's fine. And if you don't, that's also totally fine. So there are a few cool benefits and stuff that you get from it. Hopefully they're well described in the different tiers. But again, there is one channel there that's exclusively for the 2 higher tiers, which is just behind the scenes discussions about upcoming videos. That's something we can discuss later on in the chat if any of you are interested in that. But outside of that, absolutely, it's mainly just about facilitating this community in other places, so that we can, number one, so we can all have a better place to chat rather than just live streams every week. I mean, ideally, I'm going to keep doing this just because I really enjoy this, but it diversifies everything up, so we're not just stuck on YouTube. So yeah, there are some of you already jumping into the Discord channel, which is awesome. But like I said, hopefully that is fine with everyone. A post will be going up on YouTube very, very shortly. That will basically just lay out all the same stuff for people who aren't currently here. But yeah, so I suppose it just lets us have somewhere else that we can all live and chat and hang out, you know, without having to worry about like a copyright strike or two taking down the whole channel, which could happen, you know. No, it's no worries, Randy. I mean, to be honest, this is like the essence of my being these days, right? Like I absolutely love doing this and interacting with everybody. It really is incredible. And these streams for me are like the highlight of my week. So having just an extra kind of layer of protection and diversifying things up just means that we can all have that extra protection. And yeah, it means we can all talk about Dandadan in the Discord, and there's some channels for other stuff as well besides Dandadan, so maybe it might even help kind of get the creativity flowing for all of us as well. Cool. Anyway, if anybody has any questions about that, you know, let me know wherever it is that you can reach me. That's Twitter, on the Discord, Patreon. You can email me here, you know, whatever. But hopefully that's clear for everyone. Yeah. But yeah, so also anybody who's, I'm going to be going through the memberships and everything, but anybody who's currently on a membership, let's get you ported over to Patreon if you like. If you prefer to stay here, that's totally fine. I'm happy with that either way. But yeah, cool. All right then, guys. I will now start the elevator music, and then we can start going through the manga panels. If anybody has any like questions or anything like that, just let me know, and we can go through that. Cool. I look forward to it. Guys. Right. Hopefully the audio level's okay. That work for everyone? I'm always paranoid that for some reason my streaming's out of whack or something, like my OBS. So cool. It's good elevator music, to be fair. Right then. So, as you remember, guys, I'm just going to recap what we did last week. At the end of last week, we got our hands on the perp. A little loud. How's that? Better? Cool. So we got our hands on the perpetrator last week. And it's, I think it's pronounced Kauki? I don't know. But turns out that she has been provided with the knife from a mysterious benefactor who instructed her to stab Momo with it, so that they could take her powers. And she was granted the powers to control the Pygmies. Koki. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you. She was granted the powers from this mysterious benefactor in order to capture Momo's powers. And we learn this as she's kind of admitted into the group, right? And the Pygmies are quite cute. Like, they clearly care about her as well, because she's unseen in her life, and they are also completely unseen in their existence as well, which is fitting but sad. it's funny that it takes this for her to kind of realize that, because she's rejected them for the longest time. She's a very lonely person, and you know, it's great to see the interview that we saw today, because it means that we're all able to kind of get a little bit more insight into Tatsu and confirm, which we all already knew, that the socially kind of ostracized, and especially like, you know, kids who are driven to succeed, are one of those social outcasts that he aims to kind of address and discuss through his work and his characters. And she's just another side to that, just like everybody else in the group. So, you know, fitting her into the whole cast, I think, makes a lot of sense. Obviously the cast is getting quite big now, but that's fine. I can't really see too many more people joining at this point. I think this might be it, if we do count Zuma and things like that. But anyway, so she also competed with Ida when she was a child, but fell behind because of Ida's immense drive. Like, I think, like, obviously Ida's a crazy person, but she overcame her, and I guess that's part of where Koki fell behind, and as a consequence of that, her parents looked down on her, and so did her sister, which is sad. You know, like, that is sad. Like, people are more than the worth of the accomplishments that they get through pushing themselves to succeed in one way versus another, right? Like, being a prodigy is not something that everybody can do, and a lot of kids do drop off later in life, and that's sad. Like, it's not their fault, they're kids. It says more about the parents a lot of the time. But Ida is wild. I adore Ida, but she's as driven as they come, right? She's got this desire to be perfect, and you know, one thing that I'm gonna eventually get around to in the analysis videos is talking about Ida, because she's she wants to be someone that her mother would be proud of, which makes sense. So she aims to be the best at everything in all domains, and that's why she's so driven to be the leader. That's why she's so driven to be incredible in well, as a kid, right? Like performing, or to be Miss Popular. Everybody just looks at her as that affirmation. Yeah, exactly, Randy. It's about, in a way, almost getting closer to her mother through doing that. But those are things that, welcome. Those are things that we will talk about eventually in a video. So we don't need to worry too much about developing it here. She has settled into the leadership role. Totally agree. And she's good at it as well. Like, even in that last chapter from the end of the last stream, she's the one that's coming up with plans. She's the one who's asking the questions that really matter to get to the bottom of things, because she has become, actually, unironically, the leader. And I think that that's something that developed in the Space Globalist arc. She really just became the one who was pushing everybody to get better, right? And I think that's her really coming into her own, which is fantastic. It speaks really well to her as a character. And yeah, I love Ida. She's great. Also, some of the expressions she pulls are just the best. Anyway, we see Koki so we're on chapter 176, guys. We see Koki, and she looks like a normal person, right? She's not got the crazed hair over her face and everything like that at this point. She's dressed like a normal kid, and she's working with the gang so that they can find out who it is that put her up to the task in the first place. This whole arc has been just cloak and daggers, it's been shadows, and people just working from behind the scenes to some objective. And now we know that the objective is to steal the powers of Momo, at least. We obviously saw, we obviously saw the attempt at stealing Okarun's powers, but the exact nature of what is the purpose of it, who's doing it, is unclear. I think at this point it's pretty clear that Count Saint Germain is most likely the guy. I know that there's a lot of kind of back and forth about whether or not he is actually the one responsible, just because it's so on the nose. But we will find out in a few weeks. Anyway, we see her, and she's in a different uniform, like a new uniform, because her previous one was destroyed by the fire extinguisher. And she's embarrassed, and she's got one of those clips in her hair that lets other people see what it is that she's seeing. There's kind of a conflict between her and Ida already developing, and I think it's not even necessarily just because they were in competition as children. I think they're just completely opposite ends of the spectrum in personality. Ida is they're both very vulnerable underneath it all, but Ida's very forthcoming and open and strong with her personality, you know, like there's no putting Ida down or anything like that. She's confident. She's very confident, at least outwardly. Whereas Koki is the complete opposite. She's very reserved, and Ida essentially points out that her face is depressing. I don't know. I like the attitude is great. So Kinta made this hair ornament out of the nanoskin that he borrowed from Momo's house. So yeah, I think the teachers are all in on it, but we've already seen as well that the whoever it is that's behind everything is controlling people's minds and speaking to them directly. So I don't know. Until we know, we don't know. But he took a piece of the nanoskin from Momo's house, and he's been using that. That's how he created his little hoverboard and stuff. And he turned a part of it into a hair ornament for her, so that he's able to see, so that everybody's able to see through her perspective. It's like a little surveillance camera. And it's quite funny how he labels everyone. Like, you get a little bit of insight into Kinta here as well. Notably, he calls Gigi's just listed as idiot, which is not fair. Like, he is an idiot, to be fair, but I don't know. He's a lovable idiot, right? And then he also calls Okarun private first class, which is just ridiculous. Like, I always go back and forth with Kinta, to be honest. Like, sometimes I think that he's totally fine and quite funny. Like, this is fairly funny, I feel. But then other times it's just like, oh my god, like, I don't know. I think he needs maybe a little bit more time to stew, right? He needs another moment, I think. The Akira bike thing was pretty cool. The begrudging respect. Yes, that is it. Yeah. Like, I accept him. I think that's enough. Anyway, Momo, who is tiny, and she's smaller than the knife, which is quite funny, because how are you supposed to stab her with that knife to take her powers when she is like 2/3 the size of it? So the plan is to basically follow Koki around with the camera to discover the identity of the person who gave her the knife, because whoever it is going to make contact again. And with the camera, they'll be able to find out who that is. And Gigi makes a comment about Kinta's face looking better, and he was worried that it was caved in, because obviously he got smacked in the face with a baseball bat. And to be fair, he tanked it. You know, the nurse, I suppose, must have some kind of power. she's still a mystery as well for the most part, but she seems to be good, right? Or at least aligned with them, or caring about the students legitimately. Anyway, for now, Momo says that it's time to cut contact with Koki for the time being until the bait is taken. It's like his undercover operation. He flew straight into it. You're right. It must have hurt, to be fair. Like she put fucking like she put weight behind it, right? Like anyway. And then they all agreed to cut contact. They agreed to cut contact with Koki for the time being. As everybody walks away, Okarun and Momo kind of linger behind, and they take a moment for themselves, which is great because the size of the cast now, and this is the thing, with Momo and Okarun, all the moments that they have are they're when nobody else is around, right? It's almost like they have to be welcome, Omen. It's like they have to be alone for these moments to actually facilitate. And that's why nobody knows about the fact that they clearly have this thing for each other, because they're always on their own when they do it, because it's like more intimate that way, I suppose. But what's really nice here is just this expression that Okarun has is enough for Momo to know, right? Ever since the first arc, the conclusion of the first arc, she's just kind of been able to read him, and I think that that's such a nice way of facilitating closeness, is that they don't need to say things all the time. And in anime, I think a lot of the time things could be oversaid, if you know what I mean. Like the idea that all it takes is him just kind of having a bit of a vacant expression for her to know that he seems down and something's wrong doesn't just speak to the fact that she can read the fact that he is upset, which is one thing, but she's also able to tell that he doesn't seem like himself. So that baseline of how he is implanted in her brain intrinsically. That's how well they know each other at this point. That's how well established this friendship is, because they are built on top of this feeling of friendship first and foremost. They're friends, and then that's become something more over time. And because of that, there's that baseline of understanding each other, which is great. Less is more sometimes, absolutely, and this is one of those. Anyway, so they linger behind just a little bit, and Okarun's upset about the fact that they didn't find a way to turn Momo back to normal. Because that is the point, right? That's the priority. He stands behind, holding Momo, and he looks at all of his friends and everybody that they've met and hang out with, and he apologizes for not being of any use. He, just when you think that he's past this insecurity stage, it's something new crops up, right? And I do understand it. I think it makes a lot of sense for him to feel like this. I mean, at the end of the day, everybody else in the gang has a thing at this point. Everybody has a power or a speciality of some description, except for him now, which is a bitter pill to swallow, I think, because he used to be the strongest. He used to be the strongest character out of all of them, and now suddenly he's gone down to being the weakest. Because he's never had to operate without Turbo Granny, right? He doesn't have training. Like he would slam his head into the enemy as a way of an attack. That was his special move. It's just ramming his head into the enemy, and I think that that's something that weighs on him here. And yeah, you're right. He's tried to protect Momo and his friends and everything like that. And not being able to keep up, I think, is definitely difficult, especially because his powers were the one thing at the end of the last arc that made the difference, right? They were the thing that made the difference between everybody being able to get back and defeat the fairy tale card, and between that and her and Momo staying in the box and essentially dying in there. So the fact that that's not there anymore is concerning, and I understand why you would be concerned. But he's not a passive kind of guy, right? Hi, John. He's not a passive guy. It's just not in his nature. So he pushes himself to get better, and says that he needs to get better. Momo reassures him by saying that he was awesome earlier in the fight against the Pygmies, and to be fair, he was for just a guy without powers. But he laments the fact that he had to depend on Momo instead when it should have been him protecting her, which is nice, you know, like there's that mutual kind of desire to look after each other, which is really great. And because he's pushed himself, I suppose, so much over the whole series, that being in this spot is difficult. But Momo kind of shrugs it off, laughs it off. That's just who she is, though, right? Like, Momo is not really the kind of person to linger on stuff. And one thing that I think has gleamed from the interview with Tatsu is that Momo's special power, if we ignore the fact that she has literal superpowers, is to make everybody around her their best version of themselves, right? There's just like an essence to her that does that. So this kind of like, she does give him a solution for her grandma to train Okarun, but there's an element of kind of like reassurance, right? Like, yes, you can get better, but you're also enough as you are, kind of thing, which is really nice too. Yeah, they've just got such a nice dynamic at this point. Like, it's like there's not really much more to say outside of the dynamic. Is just so natural and realistic and reassuring, and you know, like I've thought the same thing, Burlap, but one of the things that, and it seems like outside of the scope of the series, but I feel like they wouldn't permanently get rid of Turbo Granny just because she's kind of like the mascot character. I think that there's a chance that maybe like temporarily or something, or we'll see her about to give up her aura in some way. But I don't know. I can't see them getting rid of Turbo Granny in any permanent way. But I don't know. I think there is something really special about Momo specifically that's being illustrated in the series at the moment. From the fact that she is the author's favorite character, and she has a very unique ability, which we'll see very soon. And the fact that she's the target and her powers being taken is the objective. I don't know. It seems to me like there is something really special about her. But yeah, no, she does have her full-size powers, yeah, which is interesting. Anyway, next we see a China shop, right? Like a Chinese restaurant. And Saiko's there eating away because she's always eating. And she's eating with two associates, right? People that she knows. Essentially, they're cursed object collectors. Also, I'm pretty sure that these two are like YouTubers. Like the design is based on two YouTubers, if I'm correct. I don't know. It's interesting. Tatsu's an interesting guy. Like, he has Minecraft references, YouTuber references multiple times. You know, the guy is an interesting guy. I know. Saiko's fit is yeah, it's good. This I love this whole sequence. This is one of my favorite fight scenes, to be honest. you know. Yeah, I feel like we're also kind of propelling into a new arc at this point, not or saga, if that makes sense. Like, another thing that we got from this interview actually today is that it basically confirms that a lot of the way that he writes these characters is about their personal development and growth, right? So being able to intrinsically pull from it Okarun getting his balls back, for instance, as a metaphor for him developing into a man, like into a strong, competent man, the man that he's supposed to be, and being able to then announce how he actually feels and be honest with Momo. It really lends credence to the idea that Momo being small and having to get bigger is also a literal physical metaphor for the notion of her having to grow up or grow up enough to be able to admit how she feels as well, which has been an underlying thing for ages and ages and ages, right? Like Raiko Kashima told her about it, you know. She isn't able to just embody her feelings. She needs to grow into herself, the self that she should be. And I think that is the main objective of this arc, as well as to set up something big story-wise. I really think that this is setting up something big story-wise, because it doesn't carry the same feeling of the previous arcs. There's something that's been stringing along for a while, like since the previous arc, that we didn't really see in any of the old arcs, which was much more about kind of slightly more encapsulated storylines, whereas this feels like it's just a continuation of something else, right? Anyway, so she's talking to the lads about their curse collections, and they basically talk about a painting that they got recently, and it just starts little fires around the house, as you do. And they seem pretty chuffed with that, so that's fine. Everything except for the cursed objects, which do not burn, which may be relevant later. I mean, it's, you know, it's hard to know exactly, because I feel like most of the time Tatsu doesn't write something unless it's going to be important. Oh, is the audio quiet? I can turn up the... Alright. Yeah, I don't know. If anybody else has any audio problems, let me know. But, yeah. I didn't know it was based on a real painting. That's pretty badass. I know that Tatsu does a lot of research, you know, into the stuff that he kind of brings into the manga. Like, even the Japanese stuff he has to research and whatnot. He talks about this in the interview as well. Okay, awesome. If there's any more issues with it, let me know. No stress, Tim. Right, anyway, so yeah, they enjoy the cursed objects, you know? What can you do? We all have a hobby. And yeah, these guys are kind of a duo act, as we'll see soon. And Saiko is asking Payase for a favor, and she hands him the cursed trunk from the previous arc. And yeah, she basically alludes to the fact that she can only really trust him with it, and its mystical power is pretty much spent at this point, but she needs it to be in safe hands, which is pretty cool, because it, you know, where else would it go, right? Like, that board game, that trunk is dangerous, right? Nobody wants to get pulled back into it again. And they, you know, Payase, he enjoys it because it feels like the motherload of curses. And it was an intense time. Like, it was a pretty intense time. Like, I you know, the arc, the Damara arc, that's one of those arcs that I think is given ever so slight, isn't really given as much love as some of the other arcs. And I get it, coming from Space Globalists, then the Ombudsman, and then the Dandadan arc. I can understand why it doesn't feel quite as the Jumanji arc. I can understand why people don't like it as much, especially because Okarun and Momo are separated for most of it. I really like that arc, and I really look forward to being able to put something together that to talk about it properly, because I just think that there's so much going on in that arc. I talked about it briefly in the yokai video where I did the section on the Brella Boy, which is one of that section on the Brella Boy. Honestly, is one of my favorite things that I've done, just because of how intense that character type is. That whole connection, that the theme of that entire arc, I think, is so powerful to me. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It feels like the last step in a lot of ways to confirm that these two should just be together, right? I know that we're still putting it off now, but that to me was like, there's not a question anymore at the end of the day. I feel like that whole arc is so tied in with this idea of the concept, the theme of love, unconditional love, and pushing yourself to do the most that you can, to give up everything for it. And I think that you see that reflected in the Zoomers, and yeah. Anyway, I'm rambling again. I'm rambling again. Point is that I look forward to getting to that arc eventually. I've just got to get through the Space Globalist stuff first, and the Kaiju, and the Ombudsman. So quite a few things before we get there. But I do look forward to it. We'll probably be done with this arc by the time that I have done those videos. So, thank you. I appreciate that. I do have a least favorite arc. I mean, I love all of them. I love all of the arcs. I think my least favorite one is probably the Ombudsman arc. Although there's still like really great stuff in there as well. So it's even that is difficult to kind of like put below other stuff, because it's got some really awesome stuff to do with Okarun and Momo. It's quite focused on them, especially after we had such a massive kind of arc where everybody was pulled in. Bringing it back to something small, it was always going to feel a little bit disappointing, or quieter, I suppose. But I don't know. I'd say that's probably my least favorite. But I try to mainly focus on the things I like the most about stuff, right? Like I find that YouTube is filled with so much negative kind of like really clickbaity kind of like, this thing is like destroying the fandom of whatever, and Twitter for Dandadan is ruthless at times. Like, I don't contribute, but I do read a lot of Dandadan on Twitter, and it's really just like a lot of the time people are really angry at each other over tiny things, which is why I like this little community we've got here so much, because I feel like I haven't seen anybody really here be really negative about stuff. Everybody seems to have really tempered kind of positions on stuff, and I think that's great. You know, I absolutely love that about this little community that we've got, guys. But yeah, it's so hopefully we can carry a bit of this over to the Discord as well. You know, I'm, for the record, guys, and another tangent, I am very much not a Discord kind of guy. I'm part of very few Discords. I just hopefully we can all just police ourselves. Like I don't like the idea of having like lots of moderators and stuff. I really hope we can all just kind of no, please don't ramp up the toxicity, please, Tim. Yeah, I hope that we can all just get along on the Discord, guys, just because yeah, I want to keep this vibe that we've got going on, right? For those of you who want to join, that is, because that's what we're about here, right? I'm starting to lose my train of thought. Anyway, doesn't really matter. That is something that I would just really like for us to be able to do. You know what? We can get a little. You get rowdy if you want. Just everybody, as long as they're respectful to everyone else, that kind of thing. Moderation can be like, moderators can be a nightmare. It's actually really interesting because the other day someone linked to yeah, I'm gonna have to have the lo-fi on constant roll in the Discord channel. But the other day somebody linked to one of my videos from the Dandadan subreddit, and somebody commented on one of the videos that they had linked to the channel from there. So I went to find it because I was like, oh my god, there are people out there talking about the channel, and I have nothing to do with it. It's like, that's wild to me. That is like, to me, that is absolutely crazy. It's such an honor for people to care enough about the channel to do that. But I went and I looked and I was like, wow, this is amazing. There are people actually talking about this stuff. Mine was just exploding. But then the moderators took it down because apparently it was self-promotion, but I didn't post it, so you know, like, moderators can be pretty intense guys. Oh wow, a super thing. I don't know what you call them. Thank you, Biggie. That's amazing. I've got a theory that Momo will only confess her love after Okarun dies. Yeah. See, see that theory. I've seen that a few times. In fact, somebody mentioned that just up in the chat earlier. I think that would be very, very dramatic. I think it would be very dramatic, and I think it would be amazing. Personally, I know that I would cry, but my only stickler with the theory is that I feel like they're not going to get rid of the mascot character. I love Turbo Granny, you know, like they must find some way to keep her around, but that would be amazing, especially because we've seen yeah, it was Pootyman, I think, but we've seen Turbo Granny's kind of not Turbo Granny, Momo's ability to transfer auras. It must come back up. It has to come back up again. I genuinely believe that it will. I just don't know how permanent it would be, just because, like, they need to sell plushies, don't they? That's if Tatsu cares about that kind of thing. I mean, the guy is a maverick, you know. I don't know. I love Turbo Granny. I do think that there is a moment. Turbo Granny needs a moment to show that she really, really, really cares about the gang, because she left. Like, she left, and she left in this way where it's kind of like, okay, cool, I got my powers. No reason for me to stick around. So when she comes back, there has to be this moment of cathartic kind of like, I do care, actually. Like, that has to happen. Because what else is there, right? Yeah, look, I think that the thing, I don't think Okarun will die. Like, especially because like, maybe temporarily, I guess, but I think that thank you, Biggie. It's been great having you, man. I appreciate the I don't know how to respond to the super chats, but that is amazing. Thank you so much. It means so much that any of you would even be here at all, let alone spend money to be here. Thank you so much. Just wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Yeah, I mean, like I think that there has to be... Okarun is so vulnerable at this point. Yeah, see, that's kind of where I'm at as well. Like I do think that Turbo Granny's going to be back, but I don't think that she'll die or go away forever. I think that there's, for me, how I view the future personally is... Thanks, Biggie, I appreciate that. I'm gonna blush. The way that I see the future is that there's going to be a moment, like the fact that people have to sacrifice their powers in order to for taking the powers to work, and the fact that we've established that means somebody has to lose their powers, or else it's like we're never going to see it, right? Somebody has to lose their powers, and that means somebody is going to have to sacrifice their powers. I suspect my headcanon for the future is there's going to be a moment where Okarun is caught, captured, whatever, and essentially the only way to save him is for Momo to give up her powers for Okarun, and that is where the confession happens, right? It's this admission physically, like all of their moments, all of their most important, passionate moments come from these instances where they act before they like when they held hands for the first time. It wasn't like, it was in the heat of this moment where they felt like this was it. And then after that came their ability, like once they pushed through that boundary, of touching, physical touch, they were able to reestablish it outside of this situation, right? So they were able to hold hands again because they've already done it before, but they've done it in an intense situation where nobody knows if they're going to survive or not. So when they go back and they go back in again for seconds, essentially, it's always quieter and more intimate, right? I think that for me, Momo needs to give up her powers. I think she'll get them back, but Momo needs to give up her powers in this moment to save Okarun. And that's when she'll admit how she feels, right? In a way, she's giving up her powers and becoming vulnerable. And that is expressing vulnerability for Okarun. And I think that everybody will be there to witness it. And that's the moment that we'll see her confession, her side of the confession. And she's physically going and doing that, right? That's my personal pet theory that I think would be so thematically, that's mine, but we'll see. I mean, it's hard to know what Tatsu's cooking. I appreciate everybody who finds that interesting. Thank you. But honestly, just thinking about it is... Welcome to the Serpo tier, Blissy. That's amazing. Thank you. I'm sorry you have to spend a month as Kinta. Yeah, I think that they'd get their powers back eventually. I don't think it would be a permanent situation, especially because Momo's powers are clearly very, very important. We need to know why they're important, and I think to really know, the plan needs to happen, right? And for it to happen, the bad guys need to get their hands on her abilities. And it also would be such a... Can you imagine the moment? Can you imagine imagine the moment in your head of her admitting it in that circumstance? And they'd both be normal for a while, and we get to see them. We'd also get to see the two of them outside. It's only for a month. I'm sorry, Blissy. I thought it was really funny. Like, after a month, you move from Kinta to the next tier, which is not Kinta. I apologize. It cracks me up. I'm sorry. We'll have to start somewhere. Yeah, it's the Kinta sentence. That's what it is. It's the Kinta's. It's a loyalty test. But I feel like the moment would be incredible, and we'd get to see them as normal teenagers for a while. Their relationship was born from aliens and ghosts and powers and coming together through that and everything. It's almost like you start to doubt yourself. Like, would they have ever worked outside of this? If this had never happened, would they have worked? And now we'd get to see them as people, just as normal people. And I think that would serve their relationship a lot. You know? Like, that's where I personally am. But who knows what will happen, really. Tatsu knows what will happen. He's probably already drawn what's happening. I also think splitting them up in this way means that something bad has to happen to one of them. I think she'll get big again. I think it'll work. But something's going to happen, and Okarun is incredibly vulnerable right now. He's confessed. There's nothing else for him to do. So it's her turn. And I think that's the way that I would do it if it were me, personally. In Tatsu we trust. Exactly, guys. In Tatsu we trust. Not Kinta. Yeah, I know. I don't know how to describe it outside of. I still love the Kinta sentence thing. Orbis. That is incredibly funny. You know what, Biggie? I actually am not 100% sure. I think you just press join on where it says subscribe. Honestly, any of you, never feel like it's always optional, guys. It's always optional. Also, you may have seen at the beginning of the video that I am launching the Patreon right now as well. You are more than welcome to continue your membership on YouTube if you prefer. It gives you the neat little Serpo tier figure that changes each month, and the emojis in the chat and stuff like that. But I have been diversifying a bit away from YouTube because I experienced a copyright strike very recently, like this morning at like 5 a.m. Been absolutely trying to deal with that. So I'm trying to just get us all. That's why the Discord exists and stuff like that, just so that we all have places that we can all go without having to worry about the channel somehow being taken down or something awful like that, and then that being it, right? And that would be it. Like, that would be the end of days. Oh my god! Wow, guys! Wow! An army of Kintas. What can I do with that? Wow. You're all amazing. That is so generous. Thank you. Wow. That is incredible. An army of Kintas. You get a Kinta and you get a Kinta. Oh no. Oh no. Eventually, it looks like if you continue Orbis, you're eventually going to be not the Kinta. We've got a goat. No. No. Oh my god, Tim. For the record, and this also goes for anybody who's joining at Dandadan or Goat, anything like that. Again, incredibly generous, guys. It's never a requirement. It's always optional. You're all wonderful people, whether you are paying membership or not. Genuinely incredible. But I am likely going to be revamping the tiers just a little bit to add so it's more reflective of the stuff on Patreon as well, guys. And it also means that you'll get specific titles that transfer over to Discord. So yeah, you'll be able to get like Discord titles essentially. So you'll have little roles attached to your names in the Discord channel, and you'll also get access to the kind of higher level chat. Jeez guys, I can't take it. Give me a heart attack. Oh my god, guys. Oh my god. Oh my. You are all just wow. I actually have no words. I actually have no words. Oh my god, you're right. We're supposed to be going through the manga panels, guys. That's a lot of green. That's a lot of Kinta. A lot of Kinta. Wow. 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 That's wonderful. Wow. I have no words, guys. Thank you. You know, like, honestly, like waking up and dealing with the copyright strike and stuff was a lot of work this morning, and it was a little stressful just because of the fact that I really care about everything we've got going on here, and I really care about, you know, the community and everything. So jumping on here and being able to kind of hang out with all of you really pushed my day back up to being pretty good, really good, you know. So thank you, and that goes for everybody. Yeah, wow. So that's a lot of Kinta. We have completely derailed. Like I yes, the Psycho fight. We've spoke about. I don't remember what we were talking about last. Just there. But hey, oh, we're talking about theories and stuff. Maybe we can have a week about theories and stuff like that. Because we've got 3 weeks, and look, hey, I mean, by the looks of things, this could probably go on another 2 weeks, just based on the fact that we are not making quick progress. We are not making quick progress, guys. Oh my god, Orbis. Oh my god. Oh my god. There's so many Kintas. Oh my god, guys. Oh, that is amazing. Thank you. Jeez. So many. Yes. Again, train of thought gone. Yeah, it's 10 gallons. That's pure beef, guys. Guys, that's pure beef. There's a lot. There's more Kintas than not Kintas in the chat, guys. This is the Church of Kinta. Apparently, Kinta is the name of the game just now. We're gonna have to have a Kinta week. You know, I'm really looking forward to the manga being back, guys, because then we can actually talk about each new week's release. And you know what's crazy? I used to worry that, because doing this whole thing, like every week there's a manga panel, a chapter out, so we'll do a chat about it. I was worried that we wouldn't have enough manga to go through. That was the concern, is that we wouldn't have enough manga to go through. Obviously that's not the case, because I've gone through a chapter and a half. I've gone through a chapter and a half. In fact, is that even true? Oh my god, no, we've gone through half a chapter. We've gotten through half a chapter, guys, right? So, and it's been an hour. So the fact is that we are definitely going to have enough to fill up each week, by the looks of it. And then when the anime's back out as well, we'll be doubling up live streams, guys. It's gonna be wild, crazy wild, you know. Quite exciting times, guys. Quite exciting times. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of side tangents, to be fair. Yeah, every stage is Kinta. The final stage, maybe the final stage should just be Kinta. So you stick around long enough and you're permanent Kinta. We'll see. Yeah. I'm glad that you enjoy the streams, guys. I don't know if we'll be able. We'll have to get through at least a single chapter when the manga comes out, so we're ready for the next week. Because, like I said, we've gone through half a chapter in an hour. And if we were to say that each of these streams is to be 2 hours long, that means that every week it would be half a chapter an hour, apparently. I'm glad that you're a side tangent enjoyer. I enjoy going on side tangents. I don't know how to stay on focus when it comes to this kind of stuff, just because, like, it's really easy to start talking about, like, the fact that Saiko is in her business uniform or something, and then that just turns into a whole stream of stuff because we're talking back and forth. I'm trying to read the chat and stay on top of what everybody's saying. And the more of us there are, the more chat that's going on, and the more that you guys are just throwing kinters at me, I'm dodging them with the baseball bat and stuff, you know. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, no, I think that I do wonder what the deal is with all the teachers, to be fair. It's interesting, for sure, because there's clearly someone's being controlled, right? I mean, I think that there is something just to be said. I'm not an expert in Japanese culture, but I do think that there's something to be said to just the dynamics in, like, Japanese schools and things like that, right? Also, the fact that people are really overworked and stuff. So, like, there's doubtlessly, we might get some backstories, unless it's literally just a matter of stabbing them with knives and controlling their brains. That, I don't know. I'm curious, you know. I'm really curious about where this is gonna go. Oh, thank you, Danny. I appreciate that. I'm glad that you're here for the side tangents, because it's like 90% of what we're doing. Right, okay. Manga, right? We need to get through it. We can't go further than part 4. Well, maybe we could, but where were we? She hands over the box, right? She hands over the box to the bootubers. Obviously, they're not bootubers in this, but you know. And is related. She lets them know that it's related to what happened at the Renjaku apartments, which is essentially the Dandadan Rock. And then Saiko starts to ask Kashimoto about research into tiny old men, the pygmies, essentially, because, and she lays it all out. Right, so single. Yeah, I think that, yeah, there's something really odd about Count Saint Germain. Like, he's obsessed with knowledge, right? He's like, he accumulates it. That seems to be the thing, is to accumulate everything. But it is almost like he is not human at all. He has no comprehension of humanity, really. So I'm curious about his true nature. And he's also got a history with Turbo Granny in some capacity, so I'm curious about that too. Saiko lets Kashimoto know that Momo, her granddaughter, got stuck in the crate and came out tiny, like a pygmy. And she wants to turn her back into normal, obviously. This is an interesting situation, actually. This whole chapter is really interesting, like this half of it, just because I feel like I don't know that we have seen Saiko. We've seen Saiko kind of like go off on her own and do her own thing. Like, we obviously saw a bit of it in the Space Globalist arc, but that was through Okarun's eyes. This is just like a Saiko chapter, which is really weird. And it's also, you know, sadly, no Turbo Granny, so she's kind of off on her own a bit, because they were like best mates, right? They were like the Granny duo. And now it's just her, which is quite sad. So turns out that Kashimoto does know a thing or two about turning a pygmy back into a normal person, and Saiko is shocked. She's quite amazed, and she wants to know what to do.
and as he's about to tell her, right? So he says that he expects that she would know more about it than he would. I can't even say it. Uchide no Kazuchi? I don't know. I was trying to learn Japanese for a while, but I dropped off because of the channel, so it's not good. But he tells her a story about the Isun Boshi, the inch-high samurai and a famous figure in Japanese folklore, which is essentially about a guy who's dropped by a demon. The hammer was dropped by a demon, and Isun Boshi swung it, and it made him big. So inch-high, big man, that kind of thing. And now the hammer is said to be in possession of the deity Daikokuten, which is a great god, essentially. And it's supposed to be at the shrine. I don't know what it's called. It doesn't say. Yeah, okay. So obviously my ability to, in any way, shape or form, accurately relay information about Japanese folklore is incredibly limited. I'm not very good at it. I probably should have done my research. But that's fine. So this is obviously a famous shrine, which hopefully someone in the chat will let me know. But yeah, there's the answer to turning Momo back to normal, is getting this hammer and using it to make her big. I don't know, maybe. I mean, if it's in possession of a deity, maybe. I mean, it's hard to say, right? Like, obviously Saiko draws her power from deities. That's why she can operate within the space of a specific kind of region, right? So there is obviously some kind of power to godhood. I just don't know what. I'm sure we'll find out. But this hammer looks like the best bet for getting Momo back to normal. And just as Kashimoto's about to depart from Saiko, she looks great in the business attire, by the way. Like, that's a fit, like, for real. Goddamn. Just as he's about to do that, he gets a kick across the face, and he's swung across the room by zombies, right? Essentially. Although I think they might be closer to vampires, right? I think the Chinese... Is it Chinese hopping vampires? Yeah. Jianxi. Yeah. So, Kung Fu zombie vampires. Sure. Next chapter. We're on 177, guys. We actually made it through a chapter, so well done us. Oh, that's interesting, Blissy. That's actually really interesting, of course. That's great. I like that. I'm curious about how honestly, the fact that everybody's split in two at the end of where we are right now in the manga is pretty crazy. We'll see. Anyway, they storm in and they start kicking things. They start smashing the place up. And it's time for a fight. And this is a great fight. Like this is like some kung fu stuff, right? It's really interesting to see Tatsu not just drawing from Japanese folklore as well. It's really interesting to see, because, like, especially with the fact that way back when, in I think it was the Serpo arc, or just at the end of the Serpo arc, Okarun highlights the fact that the yokai aren't just a Japanese phenomenon. This is something that exists across the whole world, because there's all kinds of cryptids and stories of ghosts and things like that from all around the world, which are essentially defenders in some way, shape, or form. So it was interesting to see different types of folklore being brought into it. Yeah, like the Flatwoods monster. Yeah, exactly. Definitely. So I like that. It's really cool. The guy does his research as well. Like, he's quite I mean, he mentions as well in that article, the interview that was just done with him. The guy does his research, even into his own Japanese kind of folklore. Yeah, Nessie, all sorts of stuff. I think that's just really cool. You know, the guy is he takes the time out to really work on it, and I don't know how he manages to research all of this stuff, create incredible art, and write some of the best characters. Like, the guy is a machine. I know that him and his team all work remotely, so he's basically constantly drawing from home. But that's wild. No wonder the guy is having a month off, because he is just on it all the time. The guy never misses. Yeah. It's definitely it's been sort of slow in pace in parts. I think that part of it is because this is the first arc that I've been like here for. Every other arc before this, I wasn't into Dandadan at the time. It wasn't until the anime came out that I just jumped in. I was like, oh man, I'm in. So now I'm cursed. I'm cursed by being caught up. So everything feels slower. Everything is so much slower. I don't know. It's one of those things, I guess. Like, that being part. Like, I'm so glad that I'm caught up, just because it means that we can all chat and we can all get involved in what's happening, and I love that side of being invested in a story. But also, I have to wait a week. I have to constantly wait a week. Every week I get like 10 minutes of like, oh yeah, finally, and then immediately after that 10 minutes is over, I get a dread of having to wait another week. Keep my focus out. Yeah, of having to wait for an entire another week, and in this case a month. But hey, that's part of it. Yeah, that's it. It's the anime that did it, and I'm so glad that I decided to just play it, because I basically been on a bit of a I kind of stopped watching much anime, just because like I felt quite exhausted by having to see a lot of similar stuff over and over again. So being able to get something so fresh as this really made all the difference for me. It was Momo and Okarun. Even from episode 1, it was just like something clicked in my monkey brain. I was like, I need more of this. Like, and I was in a place in life at the time where I felt like I really needed like a really positive outlet for me, and that filled that perfectly. I've read the whole manga in like a day, right? Like, it was wild. It was a wild day. And then I was just like, oh, okay, I guess I'm obsessed with this now. I better go and just, I guess I'll write something. Like, I was still doing YouTube stuff at the time. I just done that Akira video at the time, but it wasn't really like from in here. It was just kind of like forcing myself to create something to make myself kind of feel, you know, like I was putting something out there. And I was working on like, it's like some really long-winded analysis about Metal Gear Solid, which is my favorite game series. About Metal Gear Solid at the time, but I was just like, it's not really working for me. And then I watched this and I'm like, well, I'm just going to change gears and just write this thing. Because that Momo and Okarun video, and it's wild because every video afterward has taken me days and days to write, but that one took me a day. I wrote it in a day because it was like in here so obsessively. It was like, you know, I felt like there was something inside of me that needed to put that out there, and that's why, I don't know, I think that's why it's hard to even express, really. I felt like I had to do it in a way that I didn't with the Metal Gear video, despite the fact that I love Metal Gear, right? Or whatever. Like obviously this isn't really the channel for video games at this point, but you know, maybe in the future we'll figure something out. But the see, I'm rambling again. I'm going off on a tangent. But the point is that there was something about it that just worked, and it triggered something in my brain to be obsessed with it. See, Metal Gear Solid 2 is the one. I don't know if I'd be able to do it justice. Like at the time I just finished 5, so I was, and 5 is something that I didn't appreciate when it came out. But you know what? This isn't a Metal Gear Solid. Maybe one day we'll do something Metal Gear Solid related, right? Like, but right now, so I paused that, shelved it, and then just started working on the Momo and Okarun video because I just needed to make it. Oh, thanks, Burlap. I appreciate that. Yeah, I just needed to make it, and it was, yeah, it was something else for me. But I remember where I was going with this now. I'm losing it again. No, I caught up essentially immediately because that's just kind of where I was at, and now here we are every week, right? I didn't expect a hiatus to happen when I started doing these streams, by the way. I thought that we'd be talking about new chapters every week. But I think that it's quite a good thing that it happened because it allowed us to kind of figure out a pace, right? Like a good pace. Hi Enigma. Welcome. Yeah, so we figured out a pace, guys. And now when the manga is back, we will be ready. So, no such thing, man. No such thing as too late. The beauty of these is that you can just rewatch them as well, which is great. I occasionally rewatch them, but it's not fully. I just watch bits of it. It's funny to sit and just essentially watch just a screen of yourself talking. You notice all your mannerisms, all your little mannerisms, and I try not to get in my head about it. We are on chapter 177. We're on chapter 177, guys. So let's the Chinese hopping vampires are here, the Jiangxi, and they kicked Kashimoto to the other side of the room. Yeah, Science Saru, they really did knock it out of the park. It's just incredible. I'm so excited for the anime to come back. I really am, because it is wonderful. It's so good. It really adds a new layer to it. It really does. Yeah, I know, a quarter through 177. Yeah, I mean, there's a fight scene, so it should probably go a bit quicker, just because it's so visual. Anyway, they come in and they start throwing kicks. They start throwing the kung fu at Psycho. Again, her fit, I know this is the third time saying it, but it's good, right? It's a good look. It's up there with hair down Psycho from the Evil Eye arc, in my opinion. Anyway, how is she a grandma, by the way? Anyway, she fights back and she just absolutely just beats the daylights out of these zombies, and she does a pretty nice kick and just kicks a whole bunch of them back. And you know, she's holding her own. There's a lot of them, but she's tough. This is gonna be great when it's animated, by the way, right? This is gonna be a really good sequence. Like, the fight scenes are gonna be really nice. But yeah, if I ever go quiet, by the way, guys, it's me trying to catch up with the chat. it's a skill that I've still not fully managed yet. But she tells him to bring it on, essentially, and she just kicks the crap out of them. and she starts using the environment to her own benefit, like the kitchen and the air conditioning unit and stuff. She throws. You know what's really great, actually, and we'll see this like right at the end of this fight. But even here, we well, if you want to post art, guys, there's a Discord. There's the Discord. So there's an art channel there for anybody who wants to share stuff that they've seen or made or whatever. Anyway, I'm going to stop plugging the Discord, guys, but you are all welcome there. Link is on the Patreon. It's a free Patreon tier. Everybody on the free tier will be able to get access to it. Just follow, and it would be the post that's latest there. Anyway, tangent. Yeah. So what's really cool about this is that we get to see Psycho having a lot of the similar kind of like fighting elements to Momo, right? Like when she throws the air conditioning unit at at a bunch of the zombies, vampires, whatever, the Jiangxi. It's almost like when Momo threw the fire truck at the Tsushinoko or Mongolian Deathworm or whatever. It looks just like that, just like slightly reversed, and I think that's really cool. She did teach us, so it makes sense. It's just I feel like those elements are quite intentional, as you see in any roundhouse kicks that take place in this fight. So she's pretty much just kicking the crap out of them. She's holding her own and dominating the fight. Matt, Tim, I hear you, dude. I do not typically use Discord either. I just want to make sure that we've all got extra space just in case something happened to the channel. Again, long story short, guys, got a copyright strike this morning. Currently seeing about kind of getting it removed and things like that, but I don't want to get into the nitty gritty of that. Point is that having a place for us to be as well as YouTube is great. I think that's a good move, just in case, because it's 3 strikes and you're out kind of thing until they've cleared up in about, you get 90 days. Don't worry about it, it's fine. If there's any real problems, you know about it, guys. But the thing to pay attention to is just the Discord, the Patreon. Again, there's a free tier Patreon. It's just for updates, just to make sure everybody has multiple different opportunities and touch points, so that we don't need to just rely on YouTube in case something did happen, which would be awful. But I don't anticipate anything happening. It's just like I don't want to lose this community needlessly, I have you know what, Jared, I do have a few plans for other stuff. I just finished watching Freyrun as well. It's just every time I go to do something else, I'm just like, oh man, I need to say this about Dandadan. I'm addicted to it. Really, it's fantastic. Yeah. So also worth mentioning, guys. Worse, if you don't want to join the Discord, Tim, no stress, man. No stress at all. Like, nobody worry about it. It's not a necessity. It never will be. Nothing will be. Anyway, what was I saying? Oh my god, it's gone. Not the Discord. Yeah, no. So I just keep coming back to Dandadan, essentially, and it's hard not to, right? I've just got lots to do with it. What I remember now, the latest Dandadan Retold episode is down at the moment. That's what got the takedown on it. If it goes back up, it goes back up, and the strike would be removed in that case. If it doesn't go back up, then we'll have to find another home for it. but that's pretty much that when it comes to YouTube. Which is, you know, it is what it is. We just have to be more careful in the future about some things, but yeah, whatever. Like right now, we'll see is where we're at. But it would be a shame for that video to not have a home here on YouTube where everything else lives, because that's like my thing about it. Is it's more about being able to share it and other people to connect with it as well. Because it really, I feel like a lot of the stuff is designed to expand on the manga, and not replace it in any way, shape, or form. It's enrich it. I think somebody said a while back. But anyway, no stress right now. We are currently halfway through 177. In fact, I'd say a third through 177, chapter 177. So she uses her baseball bat imbued with the power of Nessie to send more of the Jiangshi flying, and she reaches for her handbag, and one of the vampires has also reached for her handbag, and she kicks him in the face, basically takes off his head and spritz him with water and throws tea at him, shouting refill, which is like ridiculous. So she's essentially exercising them, I suppose. And then that's where we see the bull just absolutely just comes in and pelts her through a beam, a support. He's a big guy. He's a big guy, and it's essentially, literally, a bull in a china shop, right? Which is quite funny. Like, I can't presume. I can't presume that that's not intentional, right? Like a bull in a china shop. It's not an accident. Oh, is it the wooden board that she uses? Oh yeah, why would she have the baseball bat? Of course, it's like a piece of wood, isn't it? I guess the power of words doesn't need to necessarily be imbued in the weapon, right? Good catch, Omen. Thank you. Anyway, they start fighting, and she's pretty matched at this point, especially given that he is pretty much impervious to damage. She kicks him in his banana and tells him that he's awfully hard. And he says thank you very much. So I don't know, the humor in this is at times very silly, but like it's very fun, right? Like it's a little juvenile, but like in the best kind of way. It's not the kind of thing that you'd ever, it's just like you don't expect it. It's fantastic. In his balls. I like that, guys. But yes, he's made out of iron. He's literally just an iron bull. And doesn't matter with how much power she hits him with, the more you hit it, the stronger it gets, like iron, right? And he absolutely starts to wreck house, and she can't really defeat him. He kicks her into a wall and starts slamming her around the place, and really she's losing, right? Psycho is losing against this guy. Every time that she hits him, he just gets stronger and more powerful. And he starts to essentially say that down there gets hot. And yeah, he basically kicks the crap out of her and defeats her. And he tells her to accept defeat. Yeah, no, that's it. Yeah, for real, Orbis. This is yeah, it's goofy. This is a goofy fight, but hey, he tells her to admit defeat, and he pulls out a knife from his underwear, sure. And essentially he wants to take her powers. So he's been essentially sent. Like, the fact that they all seem to know where everybody is shows how coordinated the whoever the enemy is. They knew that she'd be there, and they know of everybody's powers, right? Fortunately, the bootubers are there, and they essentially smack him out of the way, forming a yin-yang, which is very cool. They have two kind of opposing powers, which is awesome. So they're not just curse holders of like objects that are cursed, but they are curse users themselves. So this again, and this is when we talked about it earlier. When we talked about it earlier, guys, and we were talking about the notion of, yeah, there's a lot of cursed underwear in this show. Like the yeah, he's a bull. He has horns. It's a very horny fight in that way. Yeah. Ridiculous. Like I was saying earlier, guys, this fight is, well, not only do we see more curse users, but these are curse users outside of just like teenagers, right? Outside of the main group, or people who are going to be part of the main group. It shows a little bit more of this world, I suppose, because up until now it's been pretty what would you say, closed in a way, right? Restricted to the main group and people who are immediately related to the main group, that kind of thing. But here we see that it's not an unusual thing. Like, there are people out there who have powers, and these two, Kashimoto and the other guy, Payase, they both have powers as well, which is pretty cool. Yeah. Yeah, it's happened twice, which is already strange. Chapter 178. We've made it through 2 chapters, guys. We might be able to get through 3 before the end of the stream, probably in like 20-ish minutes, something like that. So good for us. Good for us. That's about the same amount of distance as we made last time, guys. So that means that part 4 would be the last one, because that's about the same distance. I really wanted to get to that last stuff as well. I really wanted to get absolutely caught up, just because there's some the last stuff has been like the most recent chapter has been out for like a little while now, and we haven't spoke about it really, and it's so good. Like, I keep alluding to it, but it's so good. Yeah, look at us guys. Who would have thought that we'd be here? Not me. So yeah, exactly, guys. In fact, I'm gonna make some more emojis when I get the chance as well, because so many people have joined the membership. I can make more now because it's locked behind numbers of members. So we're gonna have to have a Kinta one, and at least a Kinta one, and then we'll see. I think we need one of all the main guys, I think. Anyway, I'll get on that, guys. I'll get on that. Get some more emojis going. You know, you've earned it. You guys have earned it. It's the least I can do. So, Payase and Kishimoto stand against the remaining Jiangshi and the Iron Bull. And and then Saiko gets back up and her hair's down again, which is like, again, it's a good look, you know. This is like, I feel like this is her best look. This is her best look in the show, the series, so far. Yeah. Hi there, Argentina. Oh, that's great. I'm glad that you'll listen to it later. Hopefully there's not too much rambling for you, man. Oh yeah, we need the 10-gallon, yeah. Don't worry, guys, leave it with me. And anything that's in the Discord, we could maybe hash it out there, or I could maybe put some contenders up and we can vote on them. I don't know. Depends how much time I have. I want to get them out there, right? Yeah, I know. That's it, Enigma. That's it, Enigma. It's a good look. The best look. Anyway, so he gets stronger the more that you hit him, and yeah, he talks about his groin again and how hot it is. Hey, you know, the more that you hit him, the hotter it gets. She goes to go get her bag. There's obviously something in there, and she requests that Payase and Kishimoto hold back the bull while she does that. So they do, and there's some really nice art in this fight, guys. Like, it's really cool. Like, Payase actually transforms, whereas it appears that Kishimoto is more wait, is that right? Or have I got them the wrong way around? I think I've got them the right way around. I don't know. Whereas the wait, 13-year-old. I mean, I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. I haven't really thought much about the age of anybody who's part of the channel, to be honest. It's something I've actually not really thought about. Is that correct? Is that what we're talking about? Yeah. Yeah. Sorry. I'm not proficient at reading the chat whilst also talking. I completely lose track of what everybody's talking about, but I want to be part of it. So it's like anyway, they one of them actually transforms, and the other one seems to have more of like a guardian spirit kind of thing going on, like with Mai, I think, and Rin. Well, I might be off base, but we'll see. I think so. Anyway, the fight continues, and the Jiangxi are going crazy, and it's really cool actually to see their different powers. The shadow powers is really cool. Like, it uses his shadow as the kind of weapon essentially, which is badass. To be honest, I can't even do justice describing most of the stuff here. You really need to just go and read this section. I imagine that we all have. Look at us. 24, 28, 40, 20, 33. Look at that. That's quite a good variety. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Paul. That's a really good variety of ages. I am 28. I'm 28. I'm going to be 29 in April. So, there you go. We're all kind of like similarly. Oh, 15. Wow. Look at us. This is a really diverse group of ages, actually. That's badass. That's kind of nice, isn't it? We're all across the spectrum. That's badass. Everybody of any age is welcome here, guys. Don't worry about it. Badass. Yeah, so again, really checking. Well, maybe. Maybe. Oh, you know, honestly, I used to be the youngest in all my friends groups, and now I'm the oldest. So it's like that's like, you know, it is what it is. To be honest, I like it. I always know I'm around I know kind of what age I'm around, but yeah, I mean, oh wow, is today your birthday, Stick? That's badass. Happy birthday. That's amazing. Birthday. Everybody drop happy birthdays in the chat. I'm going to do some little celebration thingies. There you go. There you go. There you go, kiddo. Like I said, guys, everybody should make sure to check out these panels just because they're so good. No stress, Sarah. No stress. I get what you mean. I think that everybody in this chat seems to be pretty mature. I think even the younger ones, especially the younger ones, actually. Maybe the rest of us are immature. I don't know. But like I said, everybody, welcome. So the fight continues, and it's very cool. And again, I can't really do it justice, but they work together, and we get to see some pretty cool powers from all of them, and they seem to be doing a pretty good job to fight the Iron Bull. Although he seems to like it. Saiko tells Payase not to stop and to just keep fighting and to take care of the small fry while she goes to get her bag, which previously she was fighting over with one of the Zombo Bombos, the zombies, the Jiangxi. Oh my god, more gift. Oh my god, guys, there's so much money that you all just. It's like, wow. I again, every single. Really appreciate the amount of kintas we've got in the chat right now, guys. Really appreciate the amount of it's church, the Church of Kinta. That's crazy. You're all crazy. That's amazing. Thank you, Randy. That is outstanding. Thank you so much. That's very generous of you. I will. I'll get those emotes. Yes, sir. Yes, Kinta. I'll get those emotes sorted ASAP. I don't even know how many this will be, by the way. It's probably we're talking like 10 at least, right? I will find out. And I'll make some more emojis. No stress. We need one of every cast member and two of Kinta, clearly. I feel bad now making Kinta the lowest rung on the ladder. I feel like I should maybe have made him the highest. Oh well. I guess we'll have different armies with each month by the looks of it. Yeah. Ain't that the truth? I don't know who's next. I think it might be Rin. I think you might, or it might be Zuma. I'm not sure. I will check later. Oh my god, Tim. Oh my god. You guys are crazy. Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't know where to put my face. Wow, guys, that's. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to put my face. Wow, thank you, guys. That's wild. Yeah, I know. I can't take it. I keep losing my train of thought. Guys. Yes. Thank you again. Thank you. I can't not say it. I feel like I have to keep saying it. I feel like every other comment I make on the channel is me thanking somebody as well, because the time and effort that everybody puts into this channel. I know that I'm obviously the person making the content, and a lot of work goes into that, obviously, but the amount of time and energy that other people are putting into it, because at the end of the day, it makes sense. I should be the one putting effort and time and attention into the channel, but the amount of other people who are also putting effort and time into the channel, when it is like not something that anybody has to do or is expected to do, is wild to me. It's wild to me. And it's so generous, and it really just is a testament to how, oh my god, Orbis as well, oh my god. it's a testament to this community that we've made here. So thank you. Everybody, just wow, that like, whether or not it's you know, paid or you're just coming and watching the content. The fact that anybody, I've said it multiple times, but the fact that anybody sits and watches the content more than once, or is ready to show up to a stream or to a premiere, is crazy to me, because it for the most part it's just me sat here trying to you know, just speaking at this thing, and then spending a lot of hours just putting it together. But honestly, not the content wouldn't exist unless you were all here for it. So thank you. Thank you. I'm glad that you guys, you made me cry. You made me cry. Yes, I'm just really glad that we can all be here and do this, and that's great. You know, it's very exciting. It's very exciting to have a community and an audience that are genuinely interested and engaged with the content. You know, like, we all care about Dandadan, and we all are really invested in the story and the characters. And to me, like, this is like, you know, this is like, for me, all there is to need from the content being put out. So thank you. It really is. It's more than I thought would come of any of it. Right? Every single view is like, it's so strange. It's such a strange feeling in a lot of ways. And like, you obviously, like, when people talk about the algorithm or something on YouTube, there's always this kind of ephemeral kind of entity in people's mind where it's like, oh, well, the algorithm. But it's people watching your stuff. And the fact that you guys are here watching it, and every view is somebody who's sitting and watching it, and every hour that, like, this collectively, between all of us watching this stream, it's easily been like, what, like 70 hours, more than that, of collective watch time. That's wild. That is such a wild thing to me. That's so crazy, because that means that we all spent collectively however many hours watching the same thing, or something that I've made and you guys have helped to contribute to the creation of, and supported. And to me, that's, you know, it's I don't really have words to describe it, to be honest. Like, yeah, it's just, it's surreal, I suppose is the best term. Maybe that's an anticlimactic adjective, but like, anyway, the point is, I'm gonna keep making stuff if you all keep watching, and copyright strike or not, we'll figure something out. Cool, awesome, exactly, guys. Yes, so amazing. This is like highlight. This is always the highlight of the week for me. So I'm glad. To be honest, I love the videos. I do. Like, they are like something that just sits there perfectly in like a time frame. But there is something really special about the streams as well, which is what I'm starting to realize. Is that there's something to really about it. No stress, man. I'll see you next week. Yes, right. I'm gonna go back through all this chat and stuff when we're done, because this moves quickly. Right. So the fight. There is a manga here happening. The fight continues, and just as Saiko's about to reach her handbag, she gets kicked through the wall again by the Iron Bull. And as she's about to, Kishimoto is trying to gear up for an attack, and he gets slammed out of the way as well. And as the bull is trying to open the bag, Payasi steals it away, and he struggles and fails to. He gets hit by the bull as well. No worries, Stick. See ya. Bye. Yes. Yeah, so he grabs Saiko, who's trying to reach for a bag. There's obviously something very important in that bag. Yeah, happy birthday, man. And yes, so he grabs her and starts to squeeze because he's caught her, and tells her to accept defeat so that otherwise he'll crush her. Yeah, the DMCA part, it just refers to I think Digital Millennium Copyright Act, something like that, which is essentially just a legal kind of like act that allows for certain pieces of content to be taken down when they infringe that specific law, right? But with YouTube, it's kind of, you know, shaky as to what constitutes fair use and what doesn't. I would argue that the content is transformative to the degree that you could clearly say that it enriches existing IP, i.e. the manga, as opposed to replacing it. I don't believe it serves as a direct one-to-one replacement for the manga. I believe it exists as commentary primarily, which is covered by fair use, but we'll see how it goes. Yeah, you know, I think that oh, thanks, Jarrett, I appreciate that. You know, it might get put back up, Eric, if all goes well. It will return, I hope. I'm still gonna do the Retold series. Yeah, for sure. Apparently, it is quite common in this kind of sphere of content. Like the manga stuff, apparently, is quite commonly DMCA takedown. So we'll see. You know, to be honest, like I think YouTube's system is quite good for countering this stuff these days. It used to be really bad, but now it's not bad at all. It's more about, in Japan, they don't have... Sorry, this is turning into a discussion about copyright law. But but in Japan, they don't have a concept of fair use. Like, it's not something that exists in their local copyright laws. So when a Japanese company, I think it's Shusha or something like that, when they see commentary being used and using the IP that is owned by them, they basically are of the mind that belongs to them completely, and that anything using it is copyright infringement. Whereas fair use over here, where the content is primarily being distributed, we do have a concept of fair use, which is that if it's a transformative enough work, which again is kind of muddy, and is used for commentary purposes. Yeah, that's the one. That's it, Randy and Paul. We'll see. Yeah, like I said, to be honest, I probably wouldn't have tried to combat it if I didn't see other people also discussing the same kind of stuff. It happens somewhat commonly, but it could take as long as 2 weeks, right? But regardless, guys, I'm working on more content anyway. A character analysis piece, so that should use a more varied source material for the commentary, so hopefully that won't be a problem. And then we can figure out exactly how to edit some of the other stuff to be a little bit more in line with, so it doesn't get filtered into the thingy. But you know, these things happen, guys. These things happen. Again, this is why I wanted to just diversify. See you, John. Bye. Why I wanted to diversify out some of the stuff a little bit. Thanks for joining. Right. So the fight continues. She's being squeezed in a bear hug or a bull hug, and every single attack is hitting the bull, but it's also hitting Psycho as well, and each one is making him stronger too. But she tells Kashimoto to not stop and to just keep hitting him, and even though it seems counterproductive, and he keeps doing it and keeps doing it, and then boom, his arms get torn off, and he's pretty surprised because his arms got torn off. Yeah, I think that the Momo Okarun one is okay, as long as the channel doesn't get, you know, whatever. But let's not think about that. Let's not think about that. I've got them all saved anyway, so his arms get pulled off, and Psycho is okay. And the stronger that the light is, the deeper the darkness becomes. And it's, yeah, I'm not, yeah. Yeah, so I'm sorry, I've not really reread this chapter too many times, but it appears that it's essentially Kashimoto has a power called Ice Flame, right? Which is absolute zero flame, and when the temperature of iron goes down, it cracks, right? So that's what he was hitting him with. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Like it's great to see that so many of you connected with that video, because it has a very special place in my heart. Thanks, guys. No, it like I said, it has a very special place in my heart, that video, just because it came from a very kind of, you know. Anyway, and so his arms have come off. They've broken off because of the fact that they're frozen as a weakness of iron. And just like that, Psycho slaps a talisman on his head and says that it's been a long time since she's taken a beating like that. And just as Bull is about to tell her exactly who it is that's responsible, she doesn't care, and she gives him a roundhouse kick. And this is what I was talking about earlier. Is what I was talking about earlier when I was saying that Psycho and Momo have a lot of the same moves and move the same kind of way. That roundhouse kick is shown up like 5 times now, right? It's their go-to. Love it. It's brilliant. It's like my favorite move that they have. It's great. Every single time, it's just a simple kick. It's so cool. I'll try not to put that juju out there, for sure. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that everybody keeps coming back. You know. Yeah. Yes, the roundhouse kick, guys. It's what it's all about. Absolutely love it. Okay, right. No more chapters, guys. We are, for next time, 179 is where we start. There's a sad backstory as well, so be ready for that. But we made it through 3 chapters. Good for us. Good for us. Honestly, I'm surprised. I thought that we were, like, I thought that we'd get through the rest of it today, to be honest. But I suppose as I got to the end of the first hour, it started to hit me that we were not going to get through all of it, and I was foolish to think that we would. Yeah, well, you know, at least there's some left. There's some left for next week, right? And then after that, we'll have. So there's next week, and then there's another week, and then the week after that, the manga's back. So we need to figure out what to do exactly in that week. Yeah, I think I'll have a think about it. You all have a think about it, and we'll see if we can maybe come up with something. You know, it's good. Like whilst we don't always, very rarely, stick to what's happening here. It would be good to have something to attach to, right? Yeah. I appreciate that, Eric. You definitely should go and read it because it's brilliant. Honestly, it is. It's brilliant. Like the artwork that you can see is just like, honestly, it's just class. I've never really been much of a manga kind of like reader, but this has ignited it for me completely. I know. Look, hey guys. You know, if I didn't have like work, if I didn't have work tomorrow, then I wouldn't. Then I'd just stick around, right? But the real world calls to us all. Unfortunately, it expects things of us. Sadly, you know. But maybe bonus chapters. That's not a bad shout, Blissy. That's not a bad shout at all. I'll have a think about that. That's not bad. Yeah. That's a good. I'll get to bed in a minute. Yeah. Yeah. This has been again wonderful as always, guys. Just awesome. And obviously, there's the Discord. I don't know how active it's gonna be. I just kind of want to vibe it out. I didn't want to over-engineer it too much. I can see there's already people chilling in there, which is very, very cool. And if there's anything missing in there, we'll figure it out as we go. Again, I'm not really a Discord person either. There goes my lighting setup. The universe's way of telling me to go to bed. I'm not really a Discord person either, really, but this is like the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain. I'm not really a Discord person either, but I just thought that it would be really good for us to have an outlet because I like this, what we've got going on here. It's just, it's attached to a Monday, and there's no real place on YouTube for that to just happen, right? Wow, 3,000 volumes of manga. That's badass. If you do join the Discord, you should take us through that. Like, just give us like a mini tour of some of your manga. In fact, I can show you mine. I have 1 and 2. They're my only 2. Only 2 I need. I got 1 just because this was really hard to find after the anime came out. So the minute that it was restocked, I immediately just jumped on it. Oh, does Uniqlo have Dandadan coming out? Ayo, that's badass, Blissy. They're okay. I need to see this. My brother's partner works in a Uniqlo, so I'm gonna find out about that. And then 7 I got because I like 7. I like the moments in 7. I just think it's sweet. So that's my collection. It's just 2. I don't know. It's not thousands, but it's two. I said the lamp yokai. I hear you. Yeah. But I plan on continuing to get more of them as and when I'm able to. I also need to find somewhere to put stuff, right? I feel like I just don't have space for stuff like at all. So that's it. Yes, the new video will, it's still in writing stage because I've been wrestling with getting all the tiers up in shape and also getting the Discord and stuff sorted, and then also we've got the takedown request and everything to contend with. So next week or the week after for sure. I'm trying to aim for two videos a month is my current plan. I think I've already highlighted it before, but something character focused, then something like a Retold, like a Dandadan Retold. The Kaiju arc is quite short compared to the others, so yeah, so that shouldn't be a problem. But yes, I'm excited to get that stuff out there, to be honest. The premieres seemed to work pretty well last time for us all, so maybe we'll do that again. To be honest, I didn't expect so much stuff to kind of like for the chat to explode so much this stream. So guys, like, honestly, thank you. Mid-February for Uniqlo Dandadan. I'm gonna be there for that. Thank you. That's badass. I'm gonna be all over that as soon as I can, and I'm going to get all kinds of stuff. So thank you, Blissy, for being the one on the insider info. Yeah. Okay then, guys. Right. I'm gonna be here forever if I don't leave. But yes, we'll do a premieres. I really enjoyed the premiere last time. I don't know if it impacted the video performance. I don't really care that much. I just enjoyed doing it. So we'll do that again because it was great. I can see that there is, there's already a lot of people who have joined the channel. Again, optional, guys, but everybody's welcome there. Thank you all for being here. I look forward to next week as well. To be honest, like if we figure out, I'm looking forward to when the anime's back and we'll be able to do maybe two streams a week with that, because we obviously have the manga and then the anime coming out. To be honest, if we've not against the idea of doing twice a week, just generally, if we can find the kind of the thing to latch it onto, right? Like I don't see why not. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But cool. All right, guys. I'm gonna hit it. So peace. I'll catch you all next week. It's been great seeing you.